Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is scheduled for one fall and is for the Professional Wrestling Almanac Championship. Making his way to the ring, residing in Norco, California, weighing in at Who the Hell Knows. He is the Professional Wrestling Almanac Podcast's sexiest man, over 350 pounds, Mike Mayer. And his opponent, residing in Salt Lake City, Utah, weighing in at a spinal injury-assisted 265 pounds. He is the Havoc of the Pro Wrestling Almanac Podcast, Tristan Hathaway. All right, guys, and we're back. Episode 2 of the revamped podcast,
hopefully improved.
New and improved. Yep. Last week we started our first podcast in a long time. Tried a few new things. Think it worked well. A lot of you guys watched it, so hopefully we'll keep it going.
We picked up we got a lot of attention on Facebook. Don't know how we can get more views on Twitter, or not Twitter, YouTube.
I don't know either.
I mean, we got 10. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't understand how my daughter does better than we do when she's just reading. Her YouTube channel got disabled because copyright violations. I kept warning her that if she was just reading, that she was going to wind up getting a copyright tag, and she did. Like Pottermore, who I guess they came in and they did a rights violation on literally every single Harry Potter video she had. They're like, oh, if you have more than three violations, 3 copyright complaints, we can disable your channel. I got like 5 or 6 emails from of just a list of copyright violations.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically she's doing books on tape, so
yeah, exactly. So I told her it was going to happen, so she's going to start doing book reviews.
Oh, there you go.
But
a couple of interesting topics. We're going to start the lightning round in just a couple of minutes, but I do want to say one thing. I want to give a shout out to Chad.
Oh yeah,
Chad's been killing it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah,
he's been doing
just as our social media guy.
So
I mean, I've been throwing up a few things. Yes, I've been throwing up a few things here and there, but Chad is killing it. Most of the stuff that I post, like I post things like John Cena looking like Jim Varney.
That was great.
Or indie cards. Anytime you see like a show being promoted on our page, that's generally me posting it. But everything else, all the stuff that's getting conversations that are getting people talking, that's all been posted by Chad, and people are talking. But we're not, for some reason, we haven't been getting any more people liking the page. So if you're listening to this, go ahead and share the page out there. Try to get some people in there. Once we get to 1,000, we're gonna do a drawing. And we're gonna give a couple of people out there. I haven't decided quite how many, but we're gonna give a couple of people out there. Looks like what we were talking about, a gift certificate to Pro Wrestling Tees. So you just went mute, dude.
Sorry, hit the button on accident.
Yeah, you dumbass. So share the page. Get people in there. I want to get started on the website again. I'm going to be having surgery in a few weeks, so I'm going to be,
I heard.
I'm going to be fairly, homebound. And so, I will probably have plenty of time to work on a website.
Good.
Just saying.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to start off the lightning round, and we're going to get going with that right now.
Round 1, fight.
All right, guys. So for the topic, first round, we are going to be talking about the news coming out from All Elite Wrestling. Some interesting things going on with that. They just had their rally, so we're going to start right now.
So the rally, like, that was cool.
Yeah.
Little interesting I don't really recall seeing that done before. At least not for wrestling. I know it happens with other things. It was just it was a little pop-up thing. They said it was purely coincidental that it happened on the same day as SmackDown when SmackDown was in Jacksonville. I don't know that I believe it. I don't know that I don't. I mean, the rally was always going to be in Jacksonville.
Well, of course, because that's where the Khan family is based out of.
The president is a part owner of the team.
Yes. So, well, his dad's the majority owner.
Right, yeah. Right. So, but the president, Tony Khan, is, they're a Jaguars family. So it was always going to be in Jacksonville. So we had some signing announcements. We'll talk about those later.
Yes.
They brought up a couple of events coming up. They're going to have the Double or Nothing in Vegas on Memorial Day at the MGM Grand. I'm a little hesitant to tell people because I don't want them to buy tickets before I get a chance to.
I want to definitely try to make my way out there for that one.
That's one I want to get to. And then we've got, I don't know, Triple or Nothing, whatever they're going to call it, in Jacksonville. That's going to be, it looks like that's going to be in July.
Okay.
And that's the one that they were going to, portion of the gate was going to go to victims of gun violence, which is cool. And then they're going to have, just because you are a proponent of gun violence doesn't mean anybody else is.
I'm not a proponent of gun violence. It's just.
Stop. Let it go. And then they're going to do a third show under the AEW banner in Chicago in September, 1 year anniversary of All In. So that's basically it looks like that's going to be their flagship show.
Okay.
Is going to be All In or whatever they're calling it at that stage.
Now, here's the question I have with all of this going with AEW. What is that going to do to the Ring of Honor event being held at MSG WrestleMania weekend? Are those guys still going to be competing, or?
Well, who knows? I know that they've said that Jericho can still do his cruise and other things.
Which my friend went on that cruise and said he had an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was terribly fun.
Oh yeah, he said it was amazing.
But the who knows? I mean, the thing is about booking, about billing a show that far in advance is things happen. And so it is entirely possible that a show that was booked with the help of the Young Bucks and Cody and Hangman Page, etc., the Elite, being on the card, they might not be on the card now. So you're going to have this Ring of Honor New Japan Super Show that has already sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That may be severely lacking in headliners.
They could. There's a part of me that's thinking that maybe with what they were doing with the whole rally, the announcement of the AEW, because there's been talk that there is no affiliation of AEW with Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling, that maybe they could use this as leverage to possibly form a partnership somehow, because a lot of these people who bought tickets to the event at MSG are expecting to see the Young Bucks, Cody.
Card subject to change, homie.
I understand. But it's just
Tony Khan was saying in an interview that they'll look into partnerships, but they're creating something new. So they don't want to just play off of what other people have built. And I think that's an admirable risk.
Very.
Because that's going to be tough, man. The fact that they're seriously they want to make a go of it. And, on a side note, or a transitory note, if you will, TV. It looks like, they're everybody was like, oh, are they going to be on Access? Are they going to be on this? Well, it looks like the front runners right now are WGN America and TBS.
Oh, if TBS happens, I'm going to be like a little giddy kid in the late 90s, man.
Yeah, that would be, well, I mean, okay. Yeah, that would be cool. But I mean, when's it going to be on? Is it going to be on prime time? Is it going to be on a Monday? Is it going to be on a Friday? Because Friday's the due day for SmackDown starting next year.
Yes.
So is it going to be on a Wednesday?
Tuesday now that there's no SmackDown on Tuesday.
Yeah. So are they going to try to compete like with Raw, or are they just going to try to be their own product? And I think it would be foolish to go heads up with Raw when they have no track record. I think they need to be their own product and not worry about WWE at all.
Exactly. I think they would be insane to try to go up against the WWE from the get-go. I mean, you literally, the closest thing that I could equate it to is them trying to go up against the WWE right off the get-go was like Vince McMahon trying to go up against the NFL with the XFL. From the get-go. I love the way
he was smart enough that he did it in the offseason.
Exactly. Now I'm loving the way Vince is putting together the XFL deal now, where it's gonna start the week after the Super Bowl, and I think he's learned his lessons, and hopefully
that's how it worked. That's how it was last time.
Yeah, but he was trying to compete. He wanted to make it as big as the NFL. I think he realized that's not going to happen. And I would I love to see AEW get as big as the WWE? Yes, I would. Because I think anytime we have more wrestling organizations around, it's good for the business.
Right, but I mean, let's not undersell how big WWE is.
No, not at all.
WWE is
it's a global
massive
organization.
Global conglomerate, okay? It is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yes.
AEW is not going to match that. Now, could they wind up taking a chunk for themselves? Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
But like I said last week, the key is for them to be their own product. They need to not try to be WWE Part 2. When Impact was doing its own thing, it was better than, or rather, not better than WWE. I mean, it was better than WWE at the time, but it was getting ratings. It was getting viewers. And AEW needs to do that.
No, I agree.
Now, let's talk about the T-shirt controversy for a minute here. Okay. So allegedly, people were being denied entry into SmackDown in Jacksonville for wearing AEW attire, paraphernalia.
Yes.
And according to people that were there, this is complete garbage. And people were all over the arena wearing AEW gear. The people that were getting thrown out for unrelated reasons. Mm-hmm. And the two people that were denied entry into SmackDown for wearing AEW shirts were Pro Wrestling Tees employees.
Interesting.
Yes. So
when I heard that one, I was having a hard time believing that one, because for the last 2-3 years, no matter where they are, we're watching people in the crowd wearing Bullet Club shirts,
Cleaner,
Bullet Club, exactly,
Villain, whatever. Yeah.
So I mean, I do know that they will remove people. They tried it for a while, but stopped when people were cosplaying as the wrestlers.
Right.
And then if someone's wearing something offensive or holding an offensive sign. But I was having a hard time believing that one when it came.
Yeah, as was I.
Round 2. Fight!
So with AEW getting started, they of course need some wrestlers on their roster, and at their rally, they introduced several wrestlers that they were signing. So go ahead, Mike.
Well, like we had said earlier, they signed Hangman Page.
Right.
And the big news at the rally was the signing of Chris Jericho.
Well, and then there was also Christopher Daniels, Frankie
Yes.
Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, SoCal Underground, and that's not a small signing because those guys were feature players in Ring of Honor.
Well, about 9 hours ago, All Elite Wrestling updates. Now, I don't know if this is their page or it's not their page.
No, it's not.
Okay, because someone had posted a picture of the All Elite Wrestling sign in front of a picture of Cody, Jericho, and Omega. Now, one of the articles that I was reading today from Ringside News is talking about the fact that a lot of WWE contracts are going to be coming to an end pretty soon in 2019. And there are a lot of guys that are possibly looking at going over to All Elite Wrestling. And one of them that they're saying is going to possibly use the scenario for leverage is AJ Styles.
Okay. So I don't know how much I buy that, strictly because it's a devil you know versus devil you don't know situation.
Yes.
And honestly, at this point, what is AEW?
It's just a name right now.
Yeah, they're a name. They have 3 shows scheduled. 3.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot see guys leaving the WWE for 3 shows. Whether they have a contract or not, those contracts are going to be structured in a way that these guys aren't going to be making that much money if they're only working 3 shows. I mean, let's get real here.
And interesting news also that came out of this is that the women are going to be getting paid the exact same amount as the men.
Okay. No.
Okay, that's what I read.
Okay. There is going to be equal pay for equal status.
Okay.
So if you're a main eventer and you're a woman, you're going to make the same as a main eventer and a man.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that scenario-wise, you got Brock Lesnar, who's raking in well north of $10 million a year, I think it is,
with merchandise
for WWE.
With merchandise, then maybe,
with merchandise, and he is the top guy right now on the roster pay-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you have Ronda Rousey, who is the top contract for the women right now, and I think she's only making $1.2 million for the year.
Okay, so, but to me, what does one thing have to do with the other?
No, but what I'm saying, no. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, so what you're saying is, if this would be AEW, since she's the top woman, main event status, she'd be. No, you know what I'm saying, though.
I do.
Okay, so basically, whoever would be in that top woman spot would be making the same as.
I would say only if they're like main eventing and actually drawing people to shows.
Well, exactly.
And so the it's hard for me to say this, to put this together without coming off like an asshole. So only in very recent history would I say that in the WWE, women have really been a draw.
Oh no, I mean, you're talking. I have 3 daughters. Yeah. I mean, I love what the women are doing now, and don't get me wrong. I loved Trish and Lita and Victoria and Molly Holly, but that was a throwaway era.
I don't know that it was a throwaway era because it was definitely
Well, it's better. It was better than the Divas era.
Well, sure, but it was what I mean is it was like a trailblazing era, if you will. I mean, granted, they went backwards for a while,
a long while,
but the
no one really paid money to watch Bull Nakano, Alundra Blaze, Wendy Richter back, not like they are today.
So here's the thing is you go back, and if the women were not on the show, it would not have changed anything. Mm-hmm. Now you come back to today, and there are plenty of men that I could say if they were not on the show. I mean, granted, you could say that then too, but that were not on the show. But you cannot say TLC would have been a completely wasted show were it not for Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and the TLC three-way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am actually right now, I don't know about you, I'm enjoying what the women are doing right now more than what the men are doing.
In a lot of situations, yeah.
Because for me,
as a whole, yes, the women are more entertaining than the men are right now. Now, there are specific storylines for the women, specific storylines for the men that I do like, that I don't like.
Yeah.
But I think that the women are hitting more regularly than the men are, getting more wins. And I think that may just be because a lot of the focus is there right now because of how hot Becky and Charlotte are.
Yes.
And how hot Ronda Rousey is.
Now, one of the rumors that had been going around was the possibility that AEW was looking at signing Goldberg to a contract. So I just pulled it up. So this posted yesterday. So Khan made an appearance on Sean Waltman's X-Pac 12360 podcast on Wednesday, and he was asked about the rumor, and this is his response. I've spent some time with Bill. I really like Bill a lot, and he's one of the greatest drawing cards ever in the business. He's a huge star, a household name, and yeah, if the situation was right, obviously. I haven't agreed to anything with Bill, but I like him a lot, Khan said. So he... to finish it off, he said, all I got to say is it ain't up to me, Goldberg said. Actually, sorry, that was looking at a different interview Goldberg was saying on whether or not he would continue with the WWE. So, but yeah, so basically Khan did not specifically say, yes, we are going after Goldberg, but he also didn't say, no, it's not going to happen.
Okay, but now let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Kenny Omega. Right now, at least in hardcore circles, Kenny Omega is the guy.
He's it.
Everybody wants to know what he's going to do, where he's going to sign. There's a lot of speculation, and well-founded speculation, that he's going to sign with AEW.
Yeah.
It's where his friends are. He'd be comfortable there. He'd have a lot more creative control there. Now, I do not think he is going to sign with AEW. I think he is going to sign with WWE.
I agree.
And the reason I think he is going to sign with WWE is that, one, the guy wants to work. And I don't see him signing a contract that's going to lock him down in February and not being able to perform until May.
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting dynamic there. And number two is the opportunity of opponents. If he goes to AEW, he's going to be facing the same people he's been facing for the last however many years.
There's that. The other thing is that it's still the WWE. It's getting called up to the show, basically. Sure. I mean, anybody who is anybody at one point or another has wrestled in the WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the biggest names in wrestling, that's where you go.
Globally.
Exactly. I mean, for years, AJ Styles did his own thing, but he finally came to the WWE. And I think that's what's going to happen. Plus, I don't think Kenny Omega is going to be able to turn down the kind of money that rumors are saying is big compared to what he's been making.
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely. He has the opportunity to go.
Round 3. Fight!
All right, guys, for the next round, we're going to be talking about the tournament that is going to be going on, WWE Worlds Collide, which is going to be going on during Royal Rumble Access during the weekend of the Royal Rumble in Arizona.
Yeah, so
I think it's a good idea.
It's an interesting concept.
It is.
So the idea behind it is a battle royal, a 15-man battle royal, that the order of elimination determines your seeding in the tournament, and the winner gets a first round bye, which is why it's 15 guys.
So for right now, we have from NXT, we're going to have Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Dominic Djokovic, Djokovic, okay, Keith Lee and Otis Dozovic. Okay. From NXT UK, we're going to have Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate, Travis Banks, Jordan Delvin, and Zach Gibson.
Nice.
And then now one of the names has supposedly been removed from this next list. They haven't made an announcement. That's Humberto Carrillo.
Well, the reason being is that they wanted his debut on 205
it's going to be Cedric Alexander, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and Gulak. TJP will be the last one. So
yeah. So the reason being, like I was saying it, but I don't think you could hear me. This Humberto Carrillo or whatever his name is, he's Ultimo Ninja.
Okay.
And they wanted his debut on 205 Live, which is supposed to be this week, to be a surprise.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And so that's why they removed him from the tournament. That doesn't mean that he won't be in the tournament.
That's
now.
True.
So the big thing with this is that the winner of the tournament gets a title shot of any title on any brand.
Well, did you hear that I'm totally blanking right now. Who's the UK champion again for NXT?
Dunne.
That's right. Pete Dunne says he wants a match against Lesnar.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't?
No, I know. I was just like, good on you, man. Good on you.
Bryan. Look at the match he had with Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Dunne is about the same size as Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. So
it would be fun watching Brock Lesnar murder that guy and then him somehow get some kind of a comeback before getting beat.
Well, I'm loving the concept of the tournament. I have a lot of friends that are actually going to be at the Royal Rumble this year because
which I know is a lie because you don't have a lot of friends.
Okay, I have a lot of acquaintances. How about that?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. But I know a lot of people that are going, that when they heard about this, they were really excited because they're, some of these guys that are going, they also try to go to WrestleMania every year, and they're loving the fact that the WWE is now doing the access event for Royal Rumble like they are for, Mania.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that it's a stadium show.
Well, exactly. No, I mean, I get it.
We'll see where, like, is the Royal Rumble sold out? I don't even know. Apparently they're going to be entering from the dugouts. That's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll be honest. When I heard that this event was going to be at Chase Field, kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop because I've been to Chase Field, and while it's an okay facility, I don't think it has some of the greatest sight lines there are. And so I'm just trying to figure out how they were going to set this thing up at a baseball stadium.
Well, they did.
They did
WrestleMania at Safeco.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, they've done
the Astrodome, but that's a little. The Astrodome was more of a circular designed arena, so it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm loving the idea that they're doing the stadium show. I kind of have a feeling that we're going to start seeing this a lot for the Big Four.
Nah, I think we'll see it for 3 of the Big Four.
Well,
I don't think Survivor Series draws the crowds.
No, okay.
To warrant a stadium show.
But SummerSlam and
I'm
Royal
surprised
Rumble.
they did it with Royal Rumble before they did it with SummerSlam. They've done a stadium show for SummerSlam before and sold sold it out with 80,000 people. Now, granted, that was in the UK that doesn't really get a lot of shows, and it was a major pay-per-view in the UK.
And it was, look what the main event was.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Well, and look what the semi-main event was as well. You know, Warrior Savage. And so, but as far as the tournament goes, this is not the concept of this cross-brand tournament is different. However, the doing stuff at Access is not. They did a tournament for every NXT championship at Access last year. And so the this is a different concept for sure with the cross brand and then the winner getting to pick his shot. But the idea of doing the tournament in the first place isn't. And doing events at Fan Access is
what was that?
Doing events, making Fan Access a match-driven event is not new.
No, I get that. Now, they are saying here that Royal Rumble Access will take place at the Phoenix Convention Center on January 25th and 27th, and will also feature NXT UK tapings on both Friday and Sunday.
Yes.
Now, they did say, though, that the Worlds Collide announcement does not specify when the special will air on the WWE Network.
Correct. But it is going to air.
It is. So it'll be interesting to see when that happens.
Right. And I mean, shoot, let's just keep talking about the Royal Rumble. We still got time, man. I mean,
this is going to be this is actually for me one of those years where it's a tough one for me to see who has a shot at winning this thing.
Well, I see. Excuse me, man.
It's okay.
I just keep yawning. It's like I'm on drugs or something.
You are.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So I think there's a handful of people that could win. I think the Finn Balor is one. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
Drew was the other one I was thinking. So
yeah, I think those are your top 3 for the men's, and then I don't think that there is a top 3 for the women. Just like last year, it was a given that Asuka was going to win. This year, it is a given that Becky Lynch is going to win.
Yeah,
whether she's in the match now or not, because she will be. She's going to lose to Asuka. She's going to, I don't know, jump Alicia Fox or something in the back and take her spot.
She's going to jump Carmella and take the number 30 slot.
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
You know? So
because apparently that's legal entrance into the Royal Rumble, is to just jump somebody and take their spot.
I
Why
guess
you can't do that in title matches, I don't know. Well, you can. Edge did it to Kofi Kingston a few years back and won the Elimination Chamber.
That is
so. Why doesn't this happen more often?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Rumble. Has the card been finalized for the entire show yet?
It's been finalized, but I mean, we got Daniel Bryan, AJ, we got Brock Braun, we got Ronda, Sasha, we've got Asuka, Becky. We got the Bar versus the Best in the World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, okay, it'll probably be just a perfectly fine match, but why? Why is in 2019 is Shane McMahon in a title match? Like the tournament, I can deal with. I mean, but like a title match is a little different for me. I don't know.
I would agree on that one.
And then I think Rude and Gable are going against the Revival, but I'm not certain. And then the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight.
Okay.
So that's probably it. There's probably not going to add more onto it, but we're probably looking at another 7-hour marathon.
I feel like I'm gonna need to take Monday off.
Round 4. Fight!
So it's probably one of the more controversial wrestling stories in a long time. It's been
That's an understatement.
Everywhere. What we're talking about is the Priscilla Kelly tampon incident. Yeah, I saw this. I watched it, and I'm like, oh no. Oh. And of course, I mean, I know it's not real, but then there's part of me that's like, but it could be, because like it could be.
You know what?
Yeah, I mean, she came out and she's like, yo, y'all, wrestling's fake.
I get it, but I think that was a more of a CYA than anything else.
I highly doubt that she yoinked a tampon out and put it in somebody else's mouth. I doubt that.
You never know, but I mean
here's the crazy thing about this is Priscilla Kelly was in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
Like and this has garnered her so much mainstream attention. This harkens back to the Chris Dickinson, Kimberly chair shot incident.
Mm-hmm.
And now Dickinson caught some flack and got some attention, but Kimberly got signed by WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Priscilla Kelly, WWE is not going to touch her, at least not for
a while. And that's my thing. Yeah, okay, great. This is getting her a lot of mainstream attention, but is it really the attention that you want?
Well, here's the thing, is that I happen to know of a fledgling company that is trying to start up a pretty strong women's division. And it would take any kind of attention, mainstream attention. So if Priscilla Kelly were to sign with said fledgling promotion, that might mean...
Is this said fledgling promotion that seems to not be able to land a TV contract anywhere decent?
No, I'm talking about AEW, dumbass.
I don't know if you can call it fledgling. Well, I mean, it hasn't started. I mean, fledgling is barely being able to survive. I mean, they haven't even really got started yet.
Okay. Criticize my vocabulary, fat ass.
Hey, you know what? I can lose the weight. You're still going to be illiterate.
I'm not illiterate. I can read good. I'm the best at reading.
But
he was good at math and talking.
Oh, I'm horrible at math. What are you talking about?
Remember, and not only that, I mean, you can't read a scale. Most of that is because you stand on it and you look down and you can't see the numbers.
Well, that's because normally
you have to have
I can
your scale.
I can read the scales well. It just says E. That's basically it.
Eat a fucking salad.
You know, well, here was the problem though. I would want to, but then, you know, salads killed more people than my AR-15s did last month.
Just don't eat romaine lettuce, dumbass.
But that's the only good kind of lettuce. The other ones suck.
I've lost over 10 pounds since the beginning of the year just by not drinking soda.
Oh, that's true.
And only drinking water and not eating fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell y'all something. All right. I'm talking to all of you people out there in podcast land now. Several times I have gotten into this guy's car and literally we're talking McDonald's soda cups and McChicken wrappers, literally from the floor up to the point where they were covering his seat. I would open the door and things would fall out. Okay. It's a hazard.
Well, the amount of time I spend in my car, dude, and I just never get around to cleaning the damn thing out. Because here's the thing. I normally just drive by myself all day. I don't have anybody in the car.
Yeah, just come up with more reasons to try to not explain how that was only a week's worth of food.
It was more than a week, but...
Oh, yeah. Not much.
So, but no, getting back to this, man.
Man of 1,000 lunches.
That is true. You know, it's that kind of stuff that kind of prevents me from wanting to take, at least Taylor, getting to the point with Michaela, because Michaela loves watching wrestling too. But it's that kind of stuff that's preventing me from wanting to go to some of these independent shows, just because you really don't know what they're going to do.
Well, most indie shows that I have been to are very good about specifying whether or not they are family friendly.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is you want to look for those types of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I get that. I mean, and you always kind of have to worry about someone trying to go into business for themselves. I just think, and wrestling has a history of trying to do a lot of controversial things. I mean, like we said when you and I were talking earlier, WWE with the whole Katie Vick thing. And,
yeah, the Vince McMahon getting blown up.
Well, Vince McMahon wanting to try to have an incest angle between
the
Shane and
Pillman
Steph.
gun angle.
The Pillman gun angle, exactly. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Feeding the dog. I mean, the Big Boss Man and the Big Show's casket. That was another good one.
Amazing. Hold on a second. Katie, are you in the living room? Can you get the baby, please? You guys are going to get to see my baby. Don't wave on my podcast. Get out of here.
Oh, way to delegate some strong parenting effort there, buddy.
Hey, that baby is screaming, and so I got to be a dad.
Hey, I couldn't hear him. He was fine. Would have gone to sleep.
Mom's in the bath, and so he's bringing him down here. Great, not what I wanted.
Well, you said bring me the baby.
No, I didn't. I said go get the baby.
So
but let's continue to talk about this. Give me this baby. I wanted you to just rock him to sleep. Give him here.
Just whatever you do, don't pun him like Snitsky.
Oh no. Hey, buddy. All right. This is my son. This is Nicholas.
Hey, buddy.
You're supposed to be sleeping, dude.
Hi.
So
just because you see a fat guy with a beard, kid, I'm not Santa.
If he lives with a fat guy with a beard, he probably thinks you're me in 5 years. So yeah, there's been plenty of controversy. Anything Joey Ryan related, like guy does like he like flips people with his dick.
Well, look at what was going on with same thing. I mean, look at ECW back in the day. ECW was Exactly. ECW was the epitome of controversial and tasteless topics.
Mick Foley and Terry Funk had to go to court because when they did a flaming branding iron incident, somebody from the crowd got burned.
Yep.
They did. They had Vic Grimes getting pulled off of the scaffold by New Jack. Oh god, anything New Jack.
Well,
Really.
I was just gonna say anything, and then going back to our good old days. I mean, some of the stuff that was going on back in the day at XPW.
Oh yeah, their buck
XPW.
naked match and.
Yep. I mean, whereas some people consider ECW white trash wrestling, XPW was truly like the low of the low.
Oh, Rob Black was a porn director.
Exactly.
And like he went to prison for sending porn through the postal service.
Mm-hmm.
There was an incident where with Judas Messias where he got a finger cut off by Rob Black's goons because he had some sort of tryst with Lizzie Borden, who was Rob Black's wife.
Yeah. No, it was, it's something that we grew up with. I think the big thing is we've gotten to the point now though.
Just keep going.
Yeah, no, I know. We've gotten to the point now though where because WWE has been the only game in town for a long time, and we're so used to that PG era that
something like this.
I mean, that really blows the doors off of everything.
It reminds me of wrestling.
On this day in professional wrestling.
So for today in professional, or on this day in professional wrestling, that's what we're calling it, right? Yep. I don't know. You did the voiceover.
Yeah.
We decided to watch Clash of the Champions 22 from January 13th, 1993. Yeah, it was 93 because they were hawking Super Brawl 3.
Yes, they were.
So 1993. It was JR's last big show anyway, prior to moving to the WWF.
Yep, where his then first event was WrestleMania 9.
Surprise debut.
Yes. So, this was live from Milwaukee.
At the Mecca Arena.
The Mecca Arena.
Site of such wonderful events as King of the Ring 96.
Super Brawl 2.
Well, King of the Ring 96, which is, where Austin 316 was born. Over the Edge 98 was at the Mecca.
Yep.
And that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You said Super Brawl 2?
Super Brawl 2, because, Ventura mentioned how Super Brawl 2 was his first pay-per-view with WCW, and it was in that very building.
Well, okay then.
So
I remember a great line from Jerry Lawler referring to the Road Warriors. Jim Ross said about the Road Warriors being because this was in at Over the Edge. Mm-hmm. He said the Legion of Doom, when they were the AWA Tag Team Champions, spent a lot of time in Milwaukee. And Jerry Lawler said, well, in 1988, I was the AWA World Champion, and I never went to Milwaukee.
Oh, you gotta love Lawler.
Oh, and I do.
Speaking of that, another reason I love Jerry Lawler, big time Cleveland Browns fan. Diehard Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah, such a diehard Cleveland Browns fan that when he went to SummerSlam, when he performed at SummerSlam 96 at the Gund Arena, he came out in a Ravens jersey.
Dude, perfect heel move.
I know.
Heat, dude.
No.
I mean, seriously.
He's an Indians fan too.
Big time.
I don't think he's a Cavs fan though. I'm pretty sure he's a Grizzlies guy.
No. His exact wording. I'm a Cavs fan with LeBron.
Yeah. I think every Cavs fan is a Cavs fan with LeBron.
Which is actually funny though, because his son was actually a diehard Steelers fan though.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And now JR is a good old Browns fan.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, his boy, Baker Mayfield, out of Oklahoma, our starting QB, man.
So, anyway, Clash of the Champions 20. What are we talking about?
Super Brawl, huh?
Clash of the Champions 22.
Clash of the Champions 22. It was fun seeing Bill Watts on TV, actually.
Bill Watts was not good for WCW.
No, I agree. He was great for Mid-South. But
the over-the-top disqualification rule, while I understand his logic behind it, that it gave the bad guys something to do when the ref's back was turned.
Yeah,
wrestling was in a place where that was not a rule that could fly.
Yeah,
because there was just too much higher risk, higher impact stuff going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just now getting into that era. So
yeah, one of the worst parts always though about Cowboy Bill Watts was Eric Watts as a wrestler, but we won't.
Oh god, that promo that was like
that promo made the Too Cold Scorpio video actually look good.
That was like Jeff Farmer promo level. It was so bad.
But you know what? He never was really anything good on the mic or in the ring. So,
at life.
First match on the card, we had Cactus Jack versus Johnny B. Bad.
Okay, so let me just bring something up here because this has always bothered me.
Okay.
Mark Marrow is a white man. Okay, let's just Mark Marrow is a white guy, and
it's the closest you could come to blackface without wearing blackface.
I'm not sure he wasn't.
That was, I mean, he gives
even as the Wild Man,
dude. He gives 45 a run for spray tan.
He gives the Hulkster a run for spray tan. And, the Hulkster, he's got, leathery skin of a hot dog, silken hair of a Chinaman. As they say on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I will tell you the funniest thing about this match for me was not so much the match itself. It was Taylor's commentary on the match. Mm-hmm. She has grown up watching the more polished, extremely well-produced WWE shows. And so she's literally going, this is what you watched growing up? Seriously? And then she saw Johnny B. Bad coming out and she just goes, what the hell is that? She's like, what is he wearing? He looks like a cheerleader.
Well, show her Little Richard. That's what he was based on.
Yeah, it was just, and to think a guy like that landed Sable.
And may I remind you, he is a white guy.
I know.
Playing Little Richard in blackface.
Orange face.
Potentially, yeah. Beige face.
So,
I mean, it's Mick Foley in all of his Cactus Jack glory, though.
Oh, yes.
And so even at its worst, it still was pretty good.
On his end.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was one of those guys, like a Bret Hart, a Ric Flair, a Shawn Michaels, that could drag good matches out of people, but for different reasons. Because he bumped like he was dead. He bumped like they were murdering him in matches.
That's true.
And so,
next match on the card, we had Too Cold Scorpio versus Scotty Flamingo.
Yeah, for those who don't know, although if you're watching this podcast, I'd be amazed if you didn't. Scotty Flamingo went on to become Johnny Polo in the
AKA
WWF, and then in ECW became Raven, and undoubtedly had his most success as Raven. Yeah, and it's funny because he was very, very, very good wrestler as Scotty Flamingo. This match was not necessarily a great demonstration of it. I don't know. Scorpio is also very good, and I don't know what the issue was with this match. Maybe it was just a clash of styles. Who knows? But this match it was a clunker.
Yeah, it was not the best work of either one of them.
Right. But the next,
like I said, that Too Cold Scorpio video of his,
he goes step as he goes in. He just offers to kidnap a bunch of children.
Yeah,
I'm
basically.
gonna take y'all to school now.
Oh,
what? You can go in the limo?
Yeah,
nah.
And that match lasted 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Now, one of the better matches of the evening was
probably the best match on the card, in my opinion. Between this and the tag team championship match.
Exactly. Chris Benoit versus Brad Armstrong.
Good Lord, was this match good?
Very
good. I mean, Benoit was always good for a good match, no matter who he was in there against. You knew you were going to get a hard-hitting match. The finish with that full Nelson German suplex. I mean, he put Brad Armstrong right on his damn head.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, I can't help but cringe every time I see him do a flying headbutt. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because
no, I know. I get it. It still does not diminish the fact that he was an amazing in-ring performer. I mean,
diminish one's enjoyment of it.
Exactly.
It doesn't diminish his ability. His ability was second to none. I think he as far as technical wrestlers go, he's probably number 3 on my my top 5, behind Bret Hart at number 2 and the Dynamite Kid at number 1. I think the Dynamite Kid is probably the best wrestler that ever existed. Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Even with how short his career was?
His career was not that short.
It wasn't a long career though.
I mean, you can't. There's no clock on ability. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he is the greatest professional wrestler of all time. That title goes to Shawn Michaels. What I am saying
he's the greatest technical wrestler,
in-ring performer ever.
Okay.
And there's no time requirement for that.
Yeah.
A guy could be amazing the moment he steps into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he was, but the fact that that guy he'd do suplexes that could suplexes on suplexes on suplexes, and if it wasn't for the fact that he roided himself up to the gills, to the fact that he had probably about 60 pounds of muscle that his body could not support, and then masked his pain by just bombing painkillers, and became just a downright derelict person. Yeah. And it's a shame because, it ended up being what he was known for, was just being this bitter, crippled ex-wrestler. And a lot of people do not realize just not just how amazing he was in the ring, but how much of an in-ring pioneer.
Yeah.
And the fact remains is that Chris Benoit modeled his entire in-ring style after the Dynamite Kid. And the resemblance between the two physically is not slight.
Well, basically to end this match, Benoit hits a dragon suplex for the win. 9-minute, 15-second match. It was an amazing match.
For a 10-minute match, a sub 10-minute match, they put so much into that 10 minutes. There was not one mistake. The match was flawless. And don't get me wrong, Brad Armstrong held up his end of the deal, man. That guy could work. And, you listen to the Road Dogg, and he says, out of the family, Brad was probably the best wrestler.
Better.
But he had the charisma of a dry sponge.
Yeah. So much so that you and I both forgot who Chris Benoit wrestled in this match until we went back.
After watching it like 2 days ago. I watched it on Wednesday.
I watched it on Thursday.
Yeah, and completely forgot who he wrestled until I looked it up.
Literally, we both said that was a great match. Who the hell did he wrestle?
Who the hell did he wrestle?
So following that, we had Tony Schiavone introducing a video package which highlighted the reunion of the Rock and Roll Express. So you had a little bit of cross promotion with Smoky Mountain Wrestling going on.
What's really funny is that later in the year, Jim Cornette would go to the WWF, and by the end of the year, the Rock and Roll Express defended the Smoky Mountain Championship against the Heavenly Bodies at Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm. Following that, we had Jesse Ventura, which, by the way, it has been a long time since I had watched any pay-per-view that had Ventura in it.
Got the WWE Network.
I know, but I've been so busy, dude. I barely have time to watch the pay-per-views when they're on. I haven't even watched NXT in a few weeks just because I've been so busy. I know. So you had Ventura getting ready to host the Strongest Arm competition.
Yes.
Which was Tony Atlas challenging Vinny Vegas.
Well, originally it was Tony Atlas challenging Van Hammer.
Yes.
Who had won the arm wrestling competition that Tony Atlas was excluded from.
Yes.
And Vinny Vegas was the runner-up and claimed that he was at a disadvantage because he is left-handed. Mm-hmm. And so, being left-handed myself, I can say, what a bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
You're 1/9 of the population. Learn to arm wrestle right-handed. But, I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But the surprising thing was they put Tony Atlas against Vinny Vegas, who is Kevin Nash, if you don't know. And
which, by the way, if anybody ever wondered what a bearded 6'10" Bret Hart looks like, Vinny Vegas.
Oh yeah. And short hair too.
Short hair, that's right.
Yeah. And amazingly, in my mind, Vinny Vegas beat Tony Atlas in an arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the leverage.
Definitely. I mean, he didn't even look like he was sweating in that one because he had the leverage, and Atlas was doing everything in his power.
And I'm wondering, like, was the match, was it scripted or not? I don't think it was.
I think
usually arm wrestling matches don't do this. And I have to think that if it was scripted, that Tony Atlas would have won.
I think it was more of a shoot than it was a work.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we have that going on, and then we have a short little bit with Vader screaming about Sting.
They had a whole bunch of stuff. Like they had they showed a match between Cactus Jack and Paul Orndorff.
Yes.
For who was going to get the last spot on the Vader team.
Mm-hmm.
And we could just kind of run down the whole storyline of this match leading to the Thunder Cage. So Harley Race at one point threw Cactus Jack back into the ring. Cactus Jack took exception to it, attacked Harley Race. Vader came out, went at Cactus Jack. He and Paul Orndorff and Harley Race 3-on-1 Cactus Jack. Paul Orndorff got the spot on the team. Then Van Hammer was supposed to be the fourth man on their team, right?
Yeah.
And it was because it was Sting and it was Ron Simmons and Dustin Rhodes.
Yep.
And Van Hammer against Vader, Paul Orndorff, the Barbarian, and got it in front of you.
Give me 1 second. I just had to scroll down. It was
Barry
Windham.
And I love that I remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why you're the Almanac.
Yeah, it's true. So Van Hammer's out. So they're touting the match as being a 4-on-3 match. Then they did a backstage interview with all 4 members of the team plus Harley Race, and Harley Race fired the Barbarian because the Barbarian was allied with Cactus Jack. They didn't want anything to do with Cactus Jack. Then they did an in-arena face-off, and Ron Simmons got hurt. So now it's a 3-on-2 match. And I mean, talk about overbooking, but at least they didn't do it in the match. They did it.
Yes.
So that's the build up to the Thunder Cage,
and
all of the backstage nonsense that happened leading up to that. But we have one more match prior.
Two more.
Cage. Two more.
We had the Wrecking Crew versus the Z-Man and Johnny Gunn.
Gross.
Yeah,
it was a nothing match. It was literally something you could have seen on like Superstars or Worldwide or something, whatever.
Basically,
where it was a squash match to get the Wrecking Crew over. It was fine for what it was.
And then we had Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat versus Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, the Hollywood Blondes, for the WCW Tag Team title.
Okay, first let me say that the NWA tag team belts are gorgeous and really show how little thought and effort were put into the WCW tag belts, at least at that stage. The next ones, the ones that were the ones that they had at the end of WCW were actually quite nice. But these ones that had I don't know what it was, but it was like static in the it was weird. They were weird belts, and they were not very good. They were the same design as the newer ones, but I didn't like them. But the NWA tag belts are gorgeous.
Well,
and Douglas and Steamboat were the unified champions, meaning they were the NWA and WCW champions, and the match was for the unified championship.
Yes.
And what a match it was.
It was. For those of you who are only used to watching Steve Austin wrestle a Stone Cold,
what a difference a few years makes.
What a difference a few years makes, but also what a difference him having mobility makes.
Yeah, imagine this Steve Austin. Because granted, we did see this Steve Austin.
But for a very short period of time as the ringmaster.
This is the Steve Austin that feuded with Bret Hart.
Yes.
He had more of the punch kick style that he became so famous for.
Well, that he was basically forced into because of the neck injury.
Right. Yeah. But he did some of that, but man, he could wrestle.
Which is funny because hearing when he comes over to the WWE, where they basically looked at him as nothing but a mid-carder and said that his ring work wasn't the best.
No, they looked at it. No, it wasn't that his ring work wasn't the best. It was that he was expected to go out there and put on Mr. Perfect matches.
Yeah.
He was going to be the Intercontinental Champion. He was going to go out there and be a mechanic. He was going to be the workhorse.
Mm-hmm.
And so it had nothing to do with his ring work. Believe it or not, it had everything to do with his mic work.
Yeah, that's right.
And because somebody didn't watch ECW. And, Austin and Pillman were cash money.
Oh,
together.
they were
so good. And this is right at the top of their pairing, right at the beginning of their pairing, because they don't even have matching ring gear yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they weren't even called the Hollywood Blondes yet.
Nope.
But by the next Clash of the Champions, which was a couple of months later, not only were they the Hollywood Blondes and had matching ring gear, they were also the tag team champions, taking on Flair and Anderson.
Yep.
So the Hollywood Blondes, they were something special. They had something special. It got ripped away from them because in WCW, at least at that point, unless you were certain people, you weren't supposed to get over, which is the whole reason why they put them together in the first place, was because he wasn't supposed to get over. Eric Bischoff, I don't know what his problem was with people doing well, but he obviously had a problem with it.
Yeah.
Not Bischoff, maybe at this time it was Watts or whomever, but like Austin they weren't allowed to succeed. And when you succeeded, you got punished. I mean, we've seen this in the WWE as well with Zack Ryder.
Yep.
But but people were not allowed
Which,
to succeed on their own in WCW.
by the way, good on Zack Ryder for giving himself credit as the longest reigning champion in WWE history.
Absolutely.
Good on him.
Mm-hmm. Defeated nobody.
Defeated nobody. Hasn't lost the title.
At least when Royce Isaacs won the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship, he beat a pair of chopsticks.
That is true.
He lost it to a person. I told Katie he beat a pair of chopsticks, and she goes, well, at least he's not the guy who lost to a pair of chopsticks.
That is true. Didn't he beat a banana too?
No, he's only a one-time champ.
Okay.
But he beat a pair of chopsticks. He was champion for, I think the show ended with him as champion, and then he lost the title the next day.
Oh, jeez. Final match.
24/7 hardcore title. That's what it is. They have over 1,200 champions.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Some of them are literally like pieces of fruit, a pair of chopsticks, etc.
Final match of the evening was the Thunder Cage match. It was a come dressed as you are handicap match.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I have never in my life seen a flimsier cage.
Oh, I have, because I've been watching old 70s shows.
Okay.
When the cage was chain link, the bar at the top of the cage was like that big around, and it had a steel cable guide wire along the top, and the door was basically just like a chicken wire gate. And
I remember,
and it was short. It was only like that. It was only like 5 feet tall.
I remember the steel cable was still used on the big blue cage originally for a while.
No, it wasn't. At the very first time it was used was WrestleMania 2, and it was a freestanding cage.
There is one match I've seen where Hogan was wrestling. Oh God, I just watched it. But it was a cage match, and the cable was running along the top.
Maybe so, but it might have just been used in that particular incident,
possibly,
or instance. But yeah, it was not a regular thing that they did.
Oh, it was the Saturday night's main event between Hogan and Orndorff.
Oh, okay.
I totally blanked for a second, but this match was just kind of
that was, man. Like they could have, if Andre had not been able to do WrestleMania 3, they could have put the title on Orndorff leading up to WrestleMania 3, and that feud was so good they could have filled the Silverdome with Hogan Orndorff. I mean, they filled the CNE arena, or what was it? The CNS Canadian, I don't know. I think it was CNE.
Yeah.
The CNE Stadium in Toronto with Canadian CE. Yeah, I don't know.
Or just the CN is what I think it is, because
I
know the tower is the CN tower.
Well, this is also 1986.
That's true.
So,
but this, getting back to this match, I mean, it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't. The ending really bothered me, though. Okay, so it's a no disqualification match, so I get that. Like, it's a cage match. So Cactus Jack coming in and attacking
with the bolt cutters, and
that's all good. I mean, but then suddenly he's officially part of the match and gets to score the winning pinfall. Like, what?
Yeah.
No. There has to be some kind of logic to it, and there was nothing that ever indicated that he was part of the team.
Yeah, because the team was basically Sting and Dustin Rhodes.
That is NXT. The NXT taping I went to, it's Sheamus's autograph.
Nice.
Yeah, just something it was just sitting here attracting my attention because you see the hologram.
Yeah.
Shiny.
Oh yeah, you love your shiny objects.
Yeah, one of these days I'll find my my picture with Ivan Koloff.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. I don't think I've ever shown you that. I've got it somewhere. Polaroid picture of me and my friend Dale with Ivan Koloff at a Walmart in Pine Hills, or Hope Mills in North Carolina.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, he was signing autographs for charity.
Yeah. No, this. Yeah.
So I mean, really, like the show, the match, it was WCW had a long run of amazing undercards with terrible
main events.
Terrible main events. And this is in the waning days of Ric Flair. So Flair, this is right before Flair came back.
Yeah.
Like by a matter of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very apparent that he was not there. Sting and Vader and Ron Simmons and everybody stepped up and did a good enough job. I mean,
but it just wasn't
a heel champion.
Yeah.
But Flair is Flair, man, and WCW was Flair, and without Flair, it did not feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think the match was severely lacking in a lot of ways. Like you say, they had this cage that went all the way around the ring like Hell in a Cell, but they never left the ring.
Yeah.
That was a little odd.
There was one point where Vader got tossed out.
Yeah, but that was it.
Exactly.
And you had a guy that wasn't in the match get the pinfall. Now, I mean, granted, that happens. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where the guy that isn't in the match gets pinned, things of that nature. But for a big match like this, I mean, were they trying to get Cactus over? How does that get Cactus over? He shows up at the end fresh and beats a bunch of guys that are tired. It makes everybody else, it puts the heat on the wrong person. If you wanted Sting and Rhodes to be able to overcome the odds and win, then why do you have Cactus Jack come out in the first place?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. The show itself
it was an okay show.
It was what it was, you know. It was a setup. It was the setup for Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And from the second Clash of the Champions on, that's all Clash was a setup for a pay-per-view. So that's what this did. It was a they didn't have a Monday night show. They had Saturday night. That was their flagship. And this was supposed to be this is supposed to be their pay-per-view quality show, and it was not. No, I mean, maybe it was WCW pay-per-view quality for the time.
Well, yeah, but here's the funny part. The network doesn't even recognize it as a pay-per-view.
No, it's not. Clash of the Champions is Clash of the Champions.
Exactly.
And so it's not a pay-per-view. It was supposed neither Saturday night's main event, but they were supposed to be pay-per-view quality shows.
So, all right, well, that's it for this week, guys. Next week, we're going to be looking at the 20th of January. So I think, especially with what will be coming up the following week, it would only be appropriate that we do the This Day in Wrestling for the 2002 Royal Rumble that took place in the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia.
Good choice.
Thank you. From January 20th, 2002.
That has my favorite call in the history of wrestling.
Really?
I will not bring it up now. I will bring it up next week.
Okay.
But you should know what it is. But we'll talk about it offline.
Sounds good. Well, that's it, guys. So that's it for the show. Ref's giving us the 10 count.
Oh, hang on.
What?
ProWrestlingAlmanac.com.
Go ahead. You do
Pro
the
Wrestling
plugs.
Almanac on Facebook. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Almanac. On Twitter @PW Almanac. Instagram PW Almanac. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, I'm at Hathaway Tristan. I think that's right. On Instagram, Tristan Hathaway 1. Mike is at Blind Fenway on Twitter, and on Instagram is LA Kings Fan, Lake Kings Fan 1982. LA Kings Fan 1982. So yeah, check us out. Talk to us. We like people. No, I tried to even come up with a smart ass comment. I got nothing.
All right, man. Well, that's it then. Ref's giving us the 10 count, so that's it. So you guys take care. We'll see you again when the bell rings.